version of what's going on in this thing. This messy situation starts with the marriage of Judah, the fourth son of Jacob, to a Canaanite woman whose name was Shua. From this union, 3 sons were born, Onah, and Shelah. When the oldest son, became of age, Judah chose for him a wife by the name of Tamar. Any of you know this story? But according to the biblical account, was a wicked young man. He was so wicked that the Lord killed him. How wicked do you have to be for the Lord to take you out? How evil do you have to be for the Lord to shorten your life? Can you imagine anybody being that evil? Some of y'all thinking, yeah. No. But can you really imagine somebody like that? That's what happened to His life was brief, and payday came very swiftly to this young man. Now, according to the Levirate law of marriage, when a man died and he was childless, his next eldest brother was to perform the duties of husband to his brother's widow. So any children resulting from such a union would be regarded as the offspring of the deceased brother. Are you still with me?
Yes, sir.
In this way, his name would continue and his property would have an heir. This was the custom of that time and of that culture. So when died, Judah instructed the number 2 son, Onan, to go into Tamar, his brother's widow. But Onan, knowing that the children born into this union would not be his heirs, he went into Tamar, but he didn't do exactly that he was told. He went into her, but he withdrew himself so that he didn't seal the deal.
Yeah.
Is everybody with me?
We got you.
Amen. Do I need to be more specific, or can I move on? Somebody say, move on, Pastor. Amen. The Lord was not pleased with his actions either, so the Lord took him out too. The Lord killed him too. Now, I know this sounds like kind of far-fetched for a Bible story, but it's in the book. It's in the book. Read it for yourself. Now look at this situation. Is gone. Onan is gone. And now the youngest son, Shelah, he's not married age yet. So Judah asked Tamar to remain a celibate widow until his youngest son became of age, and then he could be the husband. But as time passed and Shelah became of age, Judah did not fulfill his promise to Tamar. She had been a faithful widow, and she had kept herself pure. But now she was feeling betrayed. She suspected that Judah had disrespected her and had no intention of giving the youngest son to her to be her husband. Right. Well, in the meantime, Judah's wife died, Tamar's mother-in-law. And after an appropriate period of mourning, he went back to doing his daily routine, his job, his occupation. So he went away on a business trip going to shear some sheep. Well, when Tamar heard that Judah was leaving town, she decided to take matters into her own hand. She decided, I'm going to get even with Judah. Since she knew Judah's wife had died, and after his mourning period, she knew that he would be somewhat vulnerable in certain areas. Judah had been without a woman in his life for a while, and a man without a woman in his life who has been accustomed to having a woman in his life is a little vulnerable in certain areas. Is that picture clear enough? Amen. So Tamar devised a plan to seduce her father-in-law. I know this sounds like a daytime soap opera. I know this sounds like something you look at on Lifetime, but it's in the book. It is in the book. I'm telling you, read it for yourself. Amen. Somebody said, well, this is a sure funny sermon for Mother Day. Just stay with me. Are you praying with me? Come on, stay with me and pray with me. I'm going somewhere with it. Tell somebody close to you, he's going somewhere, I think. Amen. So Tamar, let me move on with the story. So Tamar, she took off her mourning clothes, the clothes where she was mourning, and she broke out her ladies' night, get in the club free outfit. Y'all know what I'm saying. I see everybody got that picture. Everybody got that picture. Yeah. She covered her face and she posed as a harlot. You know a harlot? Yeah. She posed as a prostitute. Yeah. She posed as a hooker. She sure is wrong today. Because she stood outside the gate where she knew Judah would be trapped. Now, Judah may have wronged Tamar, but how many of you know 2 wrongs have never produced a right?
Right.
Never. 2 wrongs never produce justice. Two wrongs only make a mess a bigger mess. In a marriage or any relationship, whenever a person has been wrong, decides to take matters into their own hands by committing another wrong, the end result is never justice. It's always a bigger mess. Let me get back to the story. Tamar was determined to get even, so she positioned herself by the side of the road with her face covered. Prostitutes in those days kept their face covered so they could be identified very readily. Can you see the symbolism here? Goodness and righteousness feel free to operate in the open, but evil and wrongdoing often need a cloak to hide behind. Yeah, truth and honesty can hold his head up high, but deceit and dishonesty will try and cover up their face. Will try and cover up their feelings. They try and cover up their real self. I said, they said, I heard, or somebody told me. When you do that, you ain't doing nothing but covering your evil face. I'm trying to help somebody here today. When Judah saw Tamar by the side of the road with her face covered, he liked what he saw. So he went over to proposition her. Little did he know he was about to enter an illicit affair with his own daughter-in-law. Using my sanctified imagination, I can imagine Judah went into his player mode. Strolled over to her with his Mac Daddy dip. And with his best Barry White voice, he propositioned her. Agreed to give her a young goat for her services. Unfortunately for him, he didn't have one with him at the time. So I'm sure Judah proceeded to get his Mac on the best he could. He might have licked his lips like LL Cool J. Come on now, say something to me. Look at here, girl. Look at here, girl. Looking as good as you want to look. I ain't got that much space. Looking as good as you want to look. I sure would like to give it to you, you know what I'm saying? But check it out. I'm a little light, my cash flow is not right. But you know I'm good for it. Tamar told him, well, look, if you want a little something, you got to leave me a little something. And at that point, Judah was at her mercy. So she asked for and received his bracelets, his seal, and his staff as a pledge that he would send her back a goat later. Let me break down what Judah gave up. His bracelets represented his possessions. His seal represented his person. And his staff represented his position as head of the family. For a few moments of fleshly satisfaction, he gave up his possessions, his position, and his person. That's a mighty high price to pay for a few moments of lust. But Judah went into her, and then they went their separate ways. Now Tamar hustles back home, takes off her ladies' night outfit, put back on her mourning clothes. So when Judah gets back, attempting to be a man of his word, he got one of his servants. He gave him this young kid, said, go and take this, told her where to find the woman by the gate. He went to try and find her. He was asking around. They said, nobody worked this part of town. No, there's never anybody here. So they couldn't find her, so it just forgot about it. He just left his mind. But a few months later, there came some startling news that shook the whole neighborhood. The news was sure to give the town gossipers something to wag their tongues about. The news was brought to Judah that his celibate daughter-in-law was pregnant. So Judah, now filled with self-righteous indignation and hypocritical rage, he ordered that she be burned alive, which was the custom of that day. So the executioners hurried off to Tamar's house. The news of a public burning was soon to fill the whole neighborhood, and they knew they were just waiting for her to be dragged through the streets. But Tamar played a trump card. She had the big joke. So she cried out, hold up. That's right. I got a confession to make. I wasn't in this thing all by myself. It takes two to tango. All right, now. I want to let you know the identity of my partner in crime. So she broke out Judah's bracelet and his seal and his staff and gave it to the one who came to take her back with the message, by the man to whom these belong, I am with child. Judah was forced to admit that he had wronged Tamar by withholding his youngest son from her. So as a result of Tamar's trickery, Judah committed incest and became the father of his own grandchildren. Twins by the name of Perez and Zerah was a result